Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I am Evanna Powell, a member of Stand Up for Democracy in D.C., Free D.C. I am here to welcome you to our first presentation of the D.C. Statehood Video Contest and Concert and Open Mic. I do hope that you enjoy the presentation and that you learn something about D.C. statehood and our effort to gain that. Thank you.
Why are we here? We're going to have a rap contest. We have a rap concert today for D.C. statehood. Why? It's because D.C. statehood is one of the most crucial human and civil rights issues that is going on today. We have 700,000 people who live in the nation's capital who have absolutely no citizenship rights. The only rights we have is the vote for the President of the United States of America, which we didn't get until 1964 with the 23rd Amendment to the Constitution. It's absolutely ridiculous. D.C. residents need statehood. We just observed Veterans Day. Over 200,000 people living in the District of Columbia served in the military, in the armed services, fighting for what they were told was democracy around the world. Those residents came to D.C. they came back to D.C. from those wars to observe that they did not have the rights that they were told they were fighting for around the country. Over 2,000 of those people died in that cause during those wars. We are fighting for D.C. statehood. We're advocating for statehood. At this time, we have no representation in either the House or the Senate. We have a delegate in the House, just as the Virgin Islands, just as Puerto Rico has, just as the other territories have. But the difference is, we pay the highest federal taxes per person in the country. We have no voting representation. We cannot make a decision about how we live our lives, how we live in our communities, how we live in our neighborhoods. We are fighting to get those rights. As I said, this is a civil rights, human rights fight, and those are long fights, but they're worth it. We're going to keep on fighting until victory is won. We're going to keep on marching until victory is won. And we are looking today to have our performers inspire us, to have our performers inform us, and to have us go out renewed with the spirit to fight for D.C. statehood. Free D.C., statehood now. Next on our program, we will have a video of Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton, who is our non-voting delegate in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Statehood is important for D.C. residents, largely because it makes us equal to every other state in the Union. That equality would mean, for example, that the D.C. budget passed by the City Council would go into effect immediately upon passage. As it stands now, it has to pass through the Congress, and the only purpose is to allow it to be a vehicle for riders or amendments to overturn D.C. laws. That wouldn't happen if we had statehood. It is important for residents to understand you don't get what you don't ask for, or put another way, you don't get what you don't fight for. We would get a voting member in the House of Representatives. I vote in committee. That happens to be a very important vote. But I don't have that final vote on the House floor, even though I'm elected to represent the residents in the House of Representatives. just as importantly, where we have no representation, we would then have 2 senators. And remember, there are about 7 states that have approximately the same population that the district has. So it does seem to me that our organizations, that every resident needs to feel affiliated with one of our organizations striving to get statehood. The youth need to be strongly involved. They are the generation that is most likely to benefit, and that perhaps working more with social media, we need to involve the rest of the country far more than we do. Residents need total control of their city.
And be free.
Said she can vote in committee, but she has no final vote on the issues that affect the District of Columbia, her constituents. She has no vote, no final decision over anything that we do in our lives, including our budget, including our judges who are appointed to our courts. We do not have full representation. It's a form of voter suppression, which is being discussed right now. Next on the program, we will have a performance by Frankey, Barzz, and Megalooch.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Frank.
How you all doing today? Excellent, excellent. So thank you all so much for coming out to our program to support DC Statehood. If you believe in DC Statehood and you believe that DC should have full representation, let me hear you say 51.
51.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and share a few bars real quick on DC being the 51st state. Thank you so much for that music. Yes. If you believe that DC should be the 51st state, let me hear you say yeah. Look, it's been a long time coming. But I know, free, DC, look. We take a stand for ours and statehood. I'm Frankey, Barzz, got the keys to statehood. We amend the Constitution for equal rights from 16th and Penn. Now clean this dirty mess and Washington didn't have the rights while we never voted. Yeah, 1801, Congress stole it. You may live on the land, but you'll never own it. While we say no taxation without representation, I yell aloud till I wake up the nation from out of their sleep. Smell the eggs and bacon and catch up to what's at stake. This ain't no breakfast date, nothing sweet. Bitter at Congress marching with Senator Paul Strauss and Rosario Dawson, Franklin Garcia. We the future making the change. Screaming free DC, we still breaking the chains. Throw your hands up, throw your hands up. What? Free DC, yeah. It's been a long time. About 200 years. I said, we go free DC. I said, yeah, look, we take a stand for ours and statehood. I'm Frankey, Barzz, got the keys to statehood. We amend the Constitution for equal rights from 16th and Penn. Now clean this dirty mess and Washington. Gonna have the right while we never voted. Yeah, 1801, Congress stole it. You may live on the land, but you'll never own it. That's why we say no taxation without representation. I yell aloud till I wake up the nation from out of their sleep. Smell the eggs and bacon and catch up to what's at stake. This ain't no breakfast taking, nothing sweet. Better at Congress marching with Senator Paul Strauss and Rosario Dawson, Franklin Garcia. We the future making the change. Screaming free DC, we breaking the chains. Look. Shout out free DC. Shout out Mama Sandy. Shout out Anise, Jenkins. Shout out Megalooch, shout out Congressman Frankey Garcia. Thank you all so much. Yeah, we go. Free DC. Let me hear you say 51.
51.
Say 51. Say 50 first.
51st.
Say 50
51st.
Say we want statehood.
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 Alright, now, I want to do a little quick call and response right quick. When I say, what do we want, you're going to say statehood. And when I say, when do we want it, you're going to say now. Alright? Look. What do we want?
Statehood.
When do we want?
Now.
What do we want?
Statehood.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Statehood.
When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it?
Now.
Long time. It's been like 200 years. Everybody say 200 years.
200 years.
But we're going to be free today. Free. D.C. It's been a long time. Long time coming. Free. D.C. Everybody say full democracy. Everybody say no taxation without representation. All right, thank you. I am Frankey Barzz.
Barzz. Okay, I'm new to the statehood movement, but I'm feeling it.
All right, feel it.
Because we're better together. The classes, harass us if you want to, but understand, none of us are free unless we all want. So here's the plan. We want statehood, so we can make good, and we can make a state great in a make good. We want to help the nation through our delegation. Give Eleanor the vote, not copy for participation. Ratify and amend. Let me say it again. That's the state of Columbia, a revolution. Here we are, the beating heart. We are the 51st state. We are the stripes and stars of this American fate. And we've been fighting for a land. So here we stand with this flag in our hand, both stars and stripes, but arms are light. No one even cares. So let's start this fight and be straight. You can't make America great by making America white, cause that ain't right, that ain't real. So let's take it to the hill, tell Congress, Paul BS. Let's be honest, our senator can't vote in the shadows. It's upon us this change. Read the license plate, we take a name. And all those who think we don't deserve the same, we need 38 of our sister states to feel the same way that we can all be great. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. We stake so high, there's no time to debate. Retrocession won't cut it. He wants us like the cake. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Come on. We are the beating heart. We are the 51st state. Yeah, we are the stripes and stars of this American state. And we've been fighting for a land. Hey, let me hear DC, let's say it. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Hey, Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Hey, Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state.
51st state. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Douglas Commonwealth, the 51st state. Thank you. Stand up for democracy. Free DC, everybody. Thank you, Anise Jenkins, for fighting the good fight since '97, huh?
Thank you.
I'm glad to stand with you, Anise.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, Lord. Thank you.
And what we're trying to do today is make sure that people who took the time to come out and work with us, we're trying to give them a little certificate and a little prize and things of that nature. First, we're giving them a 100 beats at Listen Vision. So they will be able to present this and get time on their, at the studio. The studio is listed on George Avenue, and a lot of times people don't have the money to do so. So we have a gift certificate for that. We have some little trinkets about appreciation and gift cards. We have the Best of Listen Visions DVD, so they get to listen to some of the things that Listen Vision has incorporated in their work. So we would like to have John, E-L, L, or E?
John I.
John I come up.
Yeah, and my dad.
Yeah, John.
Go ahead, you can go with them too. You want to go with them? Okay.
Sorry. These are the different things that are available to you.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time, your effort, and your coming forth.
Thank you very much.
It's funny, we thought more people would come forth, but we are glad that all of you came forth.
I appreciate this very much. Thank you for setting this up. It's an honor.
Committed residents of District of Columbia, we hope that all of you will join us, because we need to make sure that more people are involved in Statehood for DC. That's the only way we're going to probably get it. So thank you so much. Okay. Jonathan Corso. Y'all are so creative. I can't do that. At 70 years old, I'm not trying. I may fall down on the floor. But anyway, some of the same things that we gave the gentleman, we're also giving you, Jonathan, and we appreciate your being here today. You're supporting our statehood cause, because it is all about cause, because we want to make sure that all residents of the USA are treated the same. We pay billions in taxes, and we need people to understand that we're not asking for anything extra. All we're asking for is the same thing that everyone else has in addition in the United States of America. So these are your prizes, and we also have a certificate of appreciation.
I want to say thank you. I'm extremely humbled, and like I've lived here for 15 years, and you know the statehood movement should have been like on my mind the whole time, and so it's been cool, really cool to get the exposure, and you know, to you guys, and I hope we can help expose you to more people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Born in a colony, run by Congress, old white men, under force of Plessy versus Ferguson. Foxwood bowling suit for integration, which became Brown versus Board of Education. When I was 9 days old, that decision went down. Plessy Ferguson replaced by Bowling Brown. Told to integrate with all the liberal speed, but man, that power never does concede. Born in a colony, I was born in a colony. I was born in a colony. I was born in a colony. Oh yeah, DC Statehood, represent. We need to get representatives in Congress, make changes, get votes. DC Statehood, this is our city.
This town still stinks of colonization. Contras interferes with our legislation. Same old story of subjugation. The license plate says we got taxation, but we ain't got squat with representation.
Represent. DC Statehood.
Down in the shadow of the Capitol, Norton can't vote, it's autocratical. I'm 64 years now, I'm going down this road. Nowhere to run for Congress and nowhere to vote.
Born in a colony, I was born in a colony. Born in a colony,
I'm a long gone daddy in a colony.
Born in a colony. Born in a colony, I was born in a colony.
I'm a cool rockin' daddy in a colony.
DC Statehood, represent. Taxation without representation. We need representatives in Congress. Let's make changes.
All right, take it away, John, on the rap.
It's a funny thing living here in the district. We got the top lobbyists and politicians. A lot of moving pieces, policies being written. But it's hard to find a place where the residents fit in. Come around the world to spread your business. And to see the monuments, you can pay them a visit. But for people living here, there is one stark difference. We got no representatives, no seats in Senate. Under Capitol rule, but we got no say. Should have representation, but still don't today. Living in the district of government games. We got dirt on our cleats, but we don't get to play. Born in a colony, I was born in a colony. I was born in a colony. I was born in a U.S. colony. Born in a colony. I was born in a colony. I was born in a colony. I was born in a U.S. colony. Thank you, guys. DC Statehood. Let's end U.S. colonization in the District of Columbia. Representatives.
Fantastic.
Next up, we will have Jesse, who has been part of the DC Statehood movement, and we are working on separate organizations. However, we do work and collaborate together. I want to emphasize that people need to check out organizations and make sure that they are actually working on statehood. We've had some non-statehood issues that have come up that have overshadowed DC statehood. But we have so many people now who are on board and realize that statehood is the only constitutional way for us to get representation and control our own lives. Jesse Lovell.
Hi there, Jesse with the DC Statehood Coalition, one of about half a dozen groups. We're all out here, we're together, we're promoting each other, we're reminding people this is a big, big movement, and it's only getting bigger every day with every new sponsor. I don't know how many people heard about it, but just about a week ago, we had a new song come down from Ice Cube. And I'll say at a minimum, it is a very edgy song. Now, I am not going to reproduce that, but I will say it did inspire something in me. He's talking about the president, he's talking about the state of our politics. This is very much inspired by his song, just released as a single about a week ago. His song's called Arrest the President. Mine's called Elect a President. And we're going to talk about that. So this is my attempt here. I'm by no means a performer, but I'll try to say this cleanly, and this will be a lot less edgy, but this, I think, will be understandable, especially to DC activists and statehood. Elected president. 8 times 88,002 kinds of voters. You can vote, but not you. DC, Puerto Rico, anywhere else you got nothing to do on DC on election day. This one's for you. Get started while the ish smart. While the dealer holding cards just stop the car. Better hip hop. This is tip top. Find the fight in this mother on your own block. And start that summit for the TikTok. Always looking for the right cross. Double game, double time, double cross. Winning means more than saying I'm the boss. It's the dark horse. It's the who knew. When the voters get votes, you get a breakthrough. What they tell you, don't play with your phone. You got instruments, do more than play a tone. Elect a president, elect a government. No representation is malignant. When you're staying the course, no blood for oil when you're winning the wars. And when he shows his horns, he's just being his best to deflect the scorn. You're gonna take it like you faded? Fade those fakers out the way then. Elect a president, elect a government, elect to represent. Unbought and unbossed just to start kids. Elect a president, elect a government, and set a precedent. No carnival barkers with a circus tent. Keep rolling with Austin. Power's fine when the point is, make them laugh for the joke biz, but don't bring that ish to the world we're in. Smoke signals rising all out on the wind. Message reads fire, end to end. Looking for buckets with water in. Finding pools of fire to fall in. These rules, they don't play fair. When the rules they make, they just don't care. Don't give an unperson a chance to make you scared. You see a circle, I see a square. My heart tells me jack, club, a diamond pair. Because the Constitution says you're not even there. But that's why I'm here. Make your ass really stay there. Ignore the barbs and the dead stare. So eclectic is what we're left with. For the record, all the people are affected. And who you elect is recommended. When the power of the vote can upend it. Elect a president, elect a government, elect to represent. Unelect is just as excellent. Elect a president, elect a government, elect to represent. Expect no vote is repugnant. I reside on the outside. I watch daily horror with my third eye. Like rats with wings, but get a bird's eye. Drop droppings on the lawn chairs and congregate outside the Congress. And make enough hits where everyone miss. Nobody ever find a safe house, a place to hold up and turn into a house-proud town mouse. Pay your rent or pay your mortgage or your ass out. Percenters take the cut of what they call now. Bleeds of GDP don't ever go down. All marching in step with the it clown. Comey, you say too much. These fellas, they just weigh too much. Sitting Capitol chairs can't pay too much. What are they explaining? The state of the runaround. Take the side of the real ones trying to vote millions, real ones fighting dollars, billions, real ones earned a vote, brilliant. Elect a president, elect a government, elect to represent. You see it relevant, you see it evident, set a precedent.
Thank you. Okay. Next we have Garcia, our representative, our U.S. representative for the District of Columbia. Recently re-elected. 97%.
Let's see, let me get organized here. Good afternoon, everybody. How are all doing? All right. Wonderful, wonderful. As you heard, my name is Frankey Garcia, and you just saw a video of our Congresswoman Norton, and she said she can't vote on the floor. Well, I'm further away from that. I can't vote anywhere, right? But you know, I may not be able to vote, but I have a voice, right? And I make sure that I use it every time I can to support DC statehood. There is an iconic picture in the Wilson building. It's of this 97-year-old man. His name is John Harry. And he actually, you see a photo of him casting his vote for the first time in 1964. And he was a lifelong Washingtonian. Now he was only able to vote at the age of 97 because if you lived in Washington, D.C. at that time, you weren't able to vote for anything else. It took amending the Constitution in 1961 for us to be able to vote for the president. Now I don't know if that can sink in for a minute, but I can't imagine living in Washington, D.C. in 1950 and seeing all the political activity happening everywhere. And just because I live in here, of all places, not being able to participate in any process. Can you imagine that? The level of frustration that people must have felt at that time? Now, we're excited that things have changed. We don't have statehood. We don't have the voting power in either the House or the Senate. But things have changed. And we've moved towards improving the lives of our citizens, which is a good thing. Today, we just got an announcement, a little email announcement that we have a new co-sponsor on our DC statehood bill. That brings the total in the House of Representatives to 178. Now that's exciting, right? Yeah. That's very, very good. That definitely deserves a round of applause. And so I am so happy that Free DC is, along with so many other groups in our city, are engaging people, are finding different ways to get the message out. This is a very, very creative way to get people excited about these statements. So let me congratulate Anise and all of her folks for doing such an incredible job at doing all they can to make sure that we're not sitting idle and we're actually moving this movement forward. Thank you so much for doing this. Let me congratulate John and Jonathan for participating in this. This is year number 1. So year number 2, we're going to make sure that we get more people out and more people excited. So you guys have a big task ahead of you to make sure that you promote your work on your own, as we will as well, and get more people excited for year number 2. Also, Frank Barr here is too. Also, thank you so much, Frank, for the work you do on behalf of our city and our residents to make sure that we all together come in and we move the statehood needle further. And you know, the reason why we're doing so well in Congress and everywhere is because of the movement we have. And we've got all these people working on statehood now. We've got Neighbors United with DC Statehood, which is doing incredible work. DC for Democracy is doing a great job also. We've got DC Vote. There's so many different groups. So whenever you see a member of Congress joining our co-sponsor in our statehood bill, it's not one person that's doing this work. It's everybody. And so our job is to continue to grow that coalition. That's what this is about. When I go places, even outside of DC, right here locally, people think that this city becomes a ghost town. That people just move out. They basically just come out here to work and then they leave, and Washington becomes a ghost town. And we know that the reality is that this is home to more than 700,000 people. That we have communities just like any over 122 neighborhoods. So it's important that we let people know. When I was in Iowa, I remember constantly when I was introduced as the shadow member of Congress, people didn't know what that meant, but they just knew that I had a lot of power. They just said, well, you're from Washington, so you guys have so much power. I mean, and then they bow down. It was just amazing. You have to educate it. That's why I'm very fine making sure that the name shadow is out there every time I'm introduced. Because that's my way to get people educated on what this is. What it means to be a shadow member of Congress. It means that people can vote for me like any member of Congress in any other jurisdiction, but I don't have the power to advocate for them in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's important. It's important that people know that. And whenever they say the shadow member of Congress, I'm excited because that is an opportunity for me to get people to ask me, what does a shadow member of Congress do? What does it do? What is your job? What is it that you're elected for? And so thank you so much, Anise, again for the opportunity. I'm very excited that I'm here. I'm very excited that you took a Saturday to come out here and promote DC Statehood. I hope that through social media we can continue the outreach, that more people hear about our plight and that more people get excited, because at the end of the day, this movement cannot be about a few elected officials. It can't be about the mayor. Our mayor has done a great job in spite of some of the other things that other people can criticize her for. She has taken on the job of promoting statehood as one of her priorities, and I'm very excited about that. The minute she came in, she renewed the Tennessee plan, and you see her every time there's an opportunity. By coincidence, as I was driving to work, I heard her about 2 weeks ago on C-SPAN radio, and I was so excited that the very first thing she started off with was DC Statehood. And basically the entire conversation was about DC Statehood. So we know that our leadership is all united, as opposed to in the past where we talked about the vote. Now we're talking about statehood. And I'm excited that all the groups are united and we're working together and we're going to make it happen. And if it takes, we know that DC Statehood is not a partisan issue, but if it takes one party to get us across the finish line, so be it. We don't mind. And we're going to do all we can to make sure that that happens in our lifetime. So give yourself a round of applause for being here, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Yes,
Royal Height. His last name is Height because he is the great nephew of Dr. Dorothy Height, who was one of our main supporters of DC Statehood and of our organization, Stand Up for Democracy in DC. All right, I want to ask our technician if he is ready for Royal. All right, the music ambassador of Stand Up for Democracy.
All right. And this is a go-go rap song for Washington, D.C., and it's called Taxation Without Representation. Taxation without representation. All right, just for you. Ready when you are, maestro? Representation, taxation. Hey, meatball, this music's so tight. Now we want to take it to a royal. Been thinking about it a long time, but I don't know. This problem's been around before go. If Chuck was still around, I'm not sure what he'd say. But since he ain't, I got to do it my way. It's all about DC. Talking about you and me. You know it's been too long, so we got to go strong. It's all about choice and not about because the power to the people got to be enhanced. Come on, y'all gotta sing this part. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. And when you think about DC situation, the only city in this nation pay federal taxes and got no vote. Now that ain't right and that's no joke. Remember Boston got his paying taxes overseas. They will be in just like Washington, D.C. Been much longer. All across the nation. Everywhere you went you heard the same conversation. Come on y'all. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Ah, yes. Everybody takes a seat. Everybody fed well, but you don't get to eat. And when you ask them what you really in the shower, yeah, you pay the money, but you really don't matter. We'll decide for you how you spend your cash. Your job is just to work. Don't let and don't ask. Really sounds crazy, but it really is. Definitely on the tell about people say you can't. Ah, yeah, without representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Say taxation without representation. Ah, yeah. And this is the history part. Pay attention. Can't live, can't work, can't live, can't learn, can't drink, can't drink, can't drink, can't earn. I guess the bottom line is to take it to the nation and let the world know about DC's frustration. We got to mobilize the people, take it to the hill. We can't stop until they pass this bill. From the House and the Senate and the President too. It won't be all good until we get statehood. Come on, y'all, without representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without come on. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Got to do it twice. Say tax. Come on, come on. Oh yeah. Now, what about a little history? Put your thinking caps on, students, and let's do some DC history. Come on, come on, come on. One time in a place not far away, there were people paying taxes, there was nothing they could say. This went on and on and on for much long, you see, and the straw broke the camel's back, a tax over tea. So take this lesson from the past. Right. Taxation without representation. The reason for this fight. Taxation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Say taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. And that's so fine. Be sure to move your soul for everybody young and everybody. We got to work a little hard and work up. Taxation without representation. Now, boy and girl, taxation without representation. We got to do it right. Say taxation without representation. Come on, everybody, say it. Say taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. Hey, you know what? We need taxation without representation to stop. Because we need statehood right now. All right.
You all know that we support statehood. It's no way we can survive without that support. Let's look at the word illness. If we take the I and change it to we have wellness. That's what we want. We want all of us working together for the same cause. We want everybody out here supporting DC statehood. Many of us don't know about statehood. So what does that mean? That means that we need to continue to let other people know. We need to work together. We, with the DC Office on Aging or the senior DC representatives, we work with DC statehood, they work with us, and we all come together to formulate wellness. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Emma has been active in the DC community for years, and she's representing us very well, seniors and over, although, of course, I'm not a senior, you know. Next we have our U.S. Senator Michael Brown. We have 2 senators and 1 representative. A lot of people don't know that. But DC votes citywide for these positions. He is also non-voting and not paid. However, he does his work very seriously. Senator Michael Brown, he's not going to rap today, but he's going to educate us on DC statehood.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm not going to rap today. I rap all the time, but I have 2 daughters who are hip-hop dancers and have made me sign an agreement never to do it in public. They're afraid of their reputation, so I won't bother you with my rap. But I'm here to say that, first of all, I'm here because this is something that Anise Jenkins is doing. And Anise Jenkins has been the soul of our movement since I've been involved. When I first got involved 12 years ago, there were a lot of people talking about 1 vote in the House of Representatives. Anise was not one of those people. She always spoke about statehood. She's always been true to the cause, and we all need to support her in her effort. And even though I won't rap, I'll give you my favorite quote. one of my favorite quotes. It's from Thomas Jefferson. It's, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal, and that they are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights. One of the most basic rights in any democracy, according to Jefferson, is representation." So I want to make it clear, we're not asking for any favors here. We're not asking for any compensation or any sort of gift from the federal government. All we're asking for is the restitution of the rights that Jefferson said were given us by God. So we need to start going up to Capitol Hill without our hat in our hands. We've worked very, very hard, and the good news is that there are 205 co-sponsors on bills right now that would make us a state. We just got a brand new one in the Senate, Senator Klobuchar. We just got another one in the House of Representatives from California. I think California has more than 25 co-signers on the bill. They really have been a great support. So we need to keep that going, and I want you to know that in the last 6 weeks, I have met with every Republican senator or every office. I've met with a few members, but I've also met with staff, every Republican that's on the Puerto Rico bill for statehood. We're trying to get them on the DC bill, because we need to have some Republicans. We have no Republicans. We've got 205 Democrats. So anything you can do, if you're from a state where there's a Republican senator or congressman that's not on the representative, that's not on the bill, please let us know, and we'll take you up to Capitol Hill with us. But it's great to be here. It's great to see that Anise is engaging young people, because we really need young people. Unlike Anise, I am a member of the senior community, and I'm getting older by the minute. So this is a fight that's gone on for 215 years, and we need to engage young people and get them in this fight. You know, we've never had a civil rights battle in America that young people didn't play an important role. There actually are people, I don't know if Frank Smith's here today, but I see Chuck and other people that were members of SNCC, which was an organization in the South, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, that helped push the civil rights movement and made dramatic changes in America. So it's great that we're engaging young people. Thank you all so much for being here.
We're getting inspired, we're getting energized, and I'm just so happy that this is working out. We next have our DC Poet Ambassador, Sandra Morgan, known better as Mama Sandy. She is coming up to recite her inspirational poem, DC Statehood. Come on up, Sandy.
How's everybody doing? Yeah, I don't really need a mic, but okay. I should know this by heart, but that's okay. Get the message. And have the light in my left eye. Name of this poem is called "Let Our Voices Be Heard." What do we want? Statehood. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it? Now. Let our voices be heard. Free DC. Break these chains. What do we want? Statehood. And we want it now. What do we want? Well, statehood. And we want it now. So let our voices be heard. Free DC. Break these chains. Heed the message, people. It's your time. Here we are, Americans. We vote, but yet there's no taxation, no representation, with no voice. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it? Now. Free DC. Let our voices be heard and break these chains. Disrespecting the people, disrespecting the voters. We get out here, we work hard, and we vote. We have no voice. We got 2 shadow senators. We got a shadow representative. We got a delegate, no voice, and can't vote. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Statehood. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? We have come a long way, but still we have far to go. Slavery is still here today. It's just done in a different way. Economic power and control. Break these chains. Break these chains. Break these chains. I'm so tired of hearing about labeling everybody. White Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans, Italian Americans, Jewish Americans, Chinese Americans, you name it, all the Americans. We are all American representation. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? And when do we want it? That's right, free DC and break these chains. We will fight, we will protest, and we will march until victory is won. Let our voices be heard. Break these chains. This is a little different. One of I guess you would say spoken words, like street poems or what have you. I call them a mad poem. Why? Because so much is happening here in the world. We're losing our children, families to violence. So, this is called Heed the Message. Make the change. It's your time. This is realistic. Because this is happening now. And this is from people from all walks of life and what society brings us. So you heard of the pusher, the hustler, the addict, the alcoholic, the homeless, the jobless, the bum on the street you call it. Government, what are you going to do about it? Community, what are you going to do about it? The murderer, the assassin, the rapist, the pedophile, the monster, the wannabe gangster, and the thief in the night, taking the purse that church, taking a mother's or father's earned money from their families, the con artist, the scammer, the one who lives in and out of the slammer, the pimp, the player, the upgraded party girl, the son or daughter wearing a sign on their back saying, I'm for sale. That is what society is bringing us to. In the U.S. world of corruption. In the U.S. world of corruption. Heed the message and make the change, people. It's your time. So you've heard of the crooked politicians, the bureaucrats, the dictators, the mudslinging, the disrespected themselves and disrespected the voters and disrespected the people. This plain old disrespecting the lawmakers, freedom takers, lawyers, liars, deceivers, manipulators, cowards, and corruptors. Death row, they call it. Justice, or is it just us? Save our children. Keep your hands off our children. Do not let them become another Troy Davis, not another Trauma Davis, not another Trayvon Martin, not another Freddie Gray, and so many of our sisters and brothers and children and parents that have died to the police and brutality. No more. And no more little disrupt, no more missing children. You talk about the Amber Alert, what about finding our missing? Find our missing. Get out there in the community. You put neighborhood and you take the neighbor out and you turn it to a hood. We are a community. When we all come together, we are one. Heed the message, people, in this U.S. world of corruption. In the U.S. world of corruption. So you try to break this vicious circle of life, looking for an escapism. And you wind up in the NA, the AA, the SA, the GA, till you're sick and tired and sick and tired and sick and tired of the same old BS. You cry, Lord, help us. Are we victims of circumstances or are we victims of society in this U.S. world of corruption? In this U.S. world of corruption. Heed the message, people. Make the change. It's your time. So, you ask me, who is or what is the U.S. world of corruption? Simple, I tell you. It's us, the people in this world who have become corrupted. No, I'm no Fela Kuti, nor am I Bob Marley, Nick Giovanni, or Maya Angelou, or any of the ancestors of the outspoken greats. No, I'm Mama Sandy, with the spoken word, the spoken truth, born in this U.S. world corruption. So what you gonna do? Hurt me? Kill me? Because I spoke the spoken truth? Heed the message. Make the change. It's your time, people. Peace. I'm out of here.
Hello everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? My name is Stephen Stover. I am the ambassador of poetry for the DC Statehood Committee. My address is entitled DC Statehood Now. Even the youngest among us knows that DC was named after Christopher Columbus. The DC that we see is not dated back to BC, but we must ask the politician, how long? How long will you be wrong? Taxation without representation, it's a crying shame, it's a travesty. Naysayer, would you rather be called your majesty? No more kings and queens since July 4th, 1776. So why does our government still need to be fixed? The naysayers must have a collective contusion that would explain all the confusion. Masters of obfuscation and illusion, so we won't come to a solution. But I say, no more dirty politics, no more pollution. Let's rally and come to a solution. Taxation without representation, it's a crying shame. It's a political game. It's an outright crime, even in our time. Republicans versus Democrats. It's a battle we've gotten good at, full of hypocrisy, buried in bureaucracy. Who with vanity, this overt insanity that deserves our profanity? As I said it before, I'll say it again. This is not democracy. This is outright hypocrisy. I say DC statehood now. A swift kick to the sacred cow. The question is not how, but how long will we bow? I don't know about you, but this scares me. It resembles too much to tyranny. U.S. states, there shall be no taxation without representation. So why the sensation? It was meant for the nation. The notion that we African Americans cannot govern ourselves is a fallacy. A notion not rooted in reality. The naysayers will have a rude awakening. If our rights they keep forsaking, if they think we're just here to vent, then this is not time well spent. Forget your frivolous policies. We were nothing less than pure equality. Taxation without representation was never meant for this nation, back then or any generation. The law of the land has been banned. So what's the solution for this intrusion, for this departure of the law our founding fathers never saw? How can we justify this blatant disregard happening in our own backyard? Because in the final hour, it boils down to power. Or are the vaults of American justice spent? Or have crooked politicians left us without a cent? Oh, I'm optimistic that we will raise a victor's cup, and to our leaders we will look up. Yet with thunder's cheers will erupt, from a victor's cup we'll sup. Yes, we'll raise a victor's cup, for a government no longer corrupt. And oh, the glory of statehood would be when DC's finally free, and it'll come stealth, and we'll call it DC, Douglas, Commonwealth. Thank you.
Grew up with, went to school with, always did. Why they were being killed at a higher rate than men that looked like him. And so I shared with him the story, the saga, the ongoing conflict in Palestine. And told him about what's happened to us right here in DC in the land that we live. The Constitution says if you're born in this country, you get citizenship. You're born in this country, you have the rights of all Americans. I can't tell.
That's the wrong one.
Take all my cash.
Not the other one. So where we stand at this point is that we hope and pray that, like Congresswoman Norton said, one day we will be equal with all the rest of those in this country. I tell my friends, and this young man, he's no longer able to perform with me on stage. He's now paralyzed. He had a traumatic accident, but I still perform with this young man because he studied the issue and came up with these lyrics that he shares with me in this land of mine.
Come into my neighborhood, I invite you in. Set up your businesses as if you were my friend. Now the because you're moving me out of where I used to live. This is the thanks I get for me wanting to give. I was born on this land, you came yesterday. Now because you wanted to me, now you want to stay. And now you're coming here and you're in your own. And you wonder why I'm pissed and want you gone. Just like South Africa and Palestine. And you're doing good to those friends of mine. Share outdoor cafes, no day to share. That's the reason why I can never trust you here. Race, class, and ethnic cleansing never did me well. Every prosperous community I own always fail. When you fail to get your cut of my labor's work, whenever you show up, I seem to lose my shirt. Just like South Africa and Palestine. And think you're doing good to those friends of mine. Share outdoor cafes, not dare to share. That's the reason why I can never trust you here. In this land of mine. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark Pratt.
Can't you see the signs of the town? You're in this land of mine. The town is like the sand that passes through the hourglass. Leave the tower that passes. You pretending your mask. A massacre was happening on South Africans. And in Palestine, West Bank, Jerusalem. We think they're gonna see peace as long as Jews are true to them. Think we're fooling them. Look at the way we're doing them. We think we'll never be cool with them. Think the land we through with them. In the sight. How do we man it in this fight? How many men were letting that light before we finally make it alright?
No one's ever free if they have to carry a pass. Emancipation line, all my faith is straight and fast. My children will carry my anger. Why should anyone have to be born in a manger? Self-obsession, Tibet, vaccine, autonomy, Akasha, Myanmar, statehood, DC. I see death and destruction. I'm cussing, pissed off, frustrated. I'm angry, mistrusting. Anyone who looks like you's watching you rules and grooves in the midst of my childhood neighborhood. I wanna act like Robin Hood, but it was my peeps who let you creep and place your hand in the middle of my land. Sometimes I wanna cry, I wanna die. They just want me to lay down and die.
Dead, I'm fighting back, give me a strap, strap me a bomb, whatever it takes, don't make this fake, better be safe, tell me along, come to do harm, pistol and palm, try to top it out, don't you go listen it out, listen me out, it's not moving wrong, body's the young, feeling the heat, check, they ready to talk about this shit, you speaking about the Middle East, I'm buying war secular, but right here in my neighborhood, it's like that on the regular, I try to express my concern, but he can seem to register, but don't kill me, I'm just a messenger.
Time for you to understand, no one left a bunch of plan in this new millennium. You know why I'm killing you. You attack, I shoot back, makes your road an arrow back. What was that? Another attack? Underneath this white light. What are you thinking? What you get? What do you want to do? Blessings and all these blessings. What I know is I refuse to lose. Even if bombs with justice come and Roman meal choose. Carry me out of my mama's home for War 9. I fight for this land of mine. In this land of mine, in this land of mine, in this land.
So, let's see, if you're from DC, make some noise. Who do we have in the building? Who's from Southwest? Make some noise. Okay, all right, there we go. All right, Northwest, make some noise. Northeast. Okay, and of course, my personal favorite, Southeast. Make some noise. Hey! Okay, all right, it's just me.
Southeast.
Yeah, I agree. Come on, Frankie. You gotta say where you at, Frankie. Where you at? Okay. All right, well, hello, everyone. I heard about this event, Stand Up Free DC, through Frankey Barzz right there. He is a very close colleague of mine. We work very well together, as well as Auntie Anise. She stops by the station all the time. I am a producer at We Act Radio, the #1 social progressive radio station in all of the DMV. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like our Facebook page. Our motto is don't just stand there, do something. I had the pleasure of being crowned Miss Black America DC this August, participating through the Miss Black America pageant, which is one of the oldest black pageants that were founded in 1969. They were a game changer. They were originally started in the Miss because black people were not allowed to participate in Miss America. So they started the Miss Black America and therefore provided a platform for African American women to have their voice told and to also take control of the narrative. So that's one of my missions. My mission is to take back and take control of our narrative, to provide it the right way for our babies, so that our babies know that the sky is not the limit, however, just the beginning. So, I wrote a little poem. This is a new one. So you all will be like my first ones, and the first ones to ever hear this, right? So, and I'll say it at Speakeasy. Speakeasy, which is the #1 open mic night happening Southeast, crossover 1918 MLK Avenue. The theme this Speakeasy, because it happens every 4th Friday, the theme this Speakeasy is to give back to the community. So if you bring 5 canned goods, we will allow you free general admission. So open mic night, that's the place where we speak easy but go hard, and we tell the truth, and only rules are no bad vibes, no hatred, right? Because we want to do that. Oh, that's my phone making noise. It's right there on my chair. You can just silence it. So, okay. It's irritating. Okay. We know it's my phone, right, guys? In the world of iPhones, you know when your phone is ringing. That's the key. Okay. Yo! Did you buy into the improper propaganda? The American dream, scheme? What? Where the real color of the enemy is green. Trust me when I say it ain't what it seems. Illusion for the delusion, never allowing you to reach the conclusion. Giving you the resources to continue to allude to the deluded. That we traded people for profit. Providing the resources that while black and brown and beige flights get turned into box office hits, as activists kneel over the proposition to quit. Don't want to cause any damage, just vibing for the white man's privilege. Thank you. That was one. But see, I just worked on that, so it's not even finished. I have to like write the last line. But, so what did you guys think? Did you all like it? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not done yet, so I got one more, and then I'll start Sylvia. Okay, and the next one that I'm going to perform is called Free. This is the one that I did for my talents at the Miss Black America competition. Someone asked, what would you want your superpowers to be? I said to free the uncaged bird. Does the uncaged bird sing? When it silences its own voice, silences betrayal. Does the uncaged bird fly? When the prison it's in has become its own comfort zone. Modern day slavery only goes by another name, but what's in the name to which we call a rose? By any other word would it smell as sweet? So simply put, I would want the powers to set you free. Free from your perversions and visions and limitations of self-doubt. Free from the box of have-tos and need-tos. Free so you can understand the confidence within you. Free from the sin-stripping, soul-clenching, cerebrum-plucking, Edward Benet mind tactics. Because, brothers and sisters, I am tired of seeing death, destruction, and despair called from the implanted, educated, Willie Lynch mental convictions inside of our heads. Amanda! Away to. So who am I to say all of this? Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am a queen, put here to raise a nation. I am the leader of the free world disguised as a kindergarten teacher. I can't be comprehended except by my permission. Just like Auntie Nikki said. I am ego tripping. But this is who I am. So allow me to be the seen as believing variable that allows you to see that you too are already set free. So have the thought. Allow it to flow through your alien guide into your cortex with a logic glass. Claim your power. I mean, you can fly like a bird in the sky. No, the cage doesn't exist. Ashe. Ashe. You guys want another one? Yes. I mean, I can okay, now this one actually takes a lot out of me, so I will definitely most likely sit down. So, it does. So about a month ago, my best friend was murdered. Her life was taken due to gun violence. And therefore, with her life being taken, right? It was crazy because when I heard about it, I just thought about the young man who shot her. And I thought about how much love he didn't get in life when he thought that it was okay to pick up a weapon to utilize it to solve a temporary problem with a permanent solution. So when it comes to gun violence, we have to look at it as a public health issue. We have to look at the mental health resources that are not being provided into our neighborhoods, unlike other resources that are not being provided into our neighborhoods, because it is destruction by design. And it doesn't have to be a physical war, everyone, but to my people, it is a mental war. And it's not a game anymore. Like, it's not a game. So we gotta wake up. So, as always, T, this is for you. Feels like I'm stuck in that in-between, can't be seen type of sunken place. Because I don't need no next plan. My breath caught up in my chest, man. And I don't need no new friends. Ain't trying to even wear a vest, man. All I need is my best friend. Time after time and the words still don't come to mind. Here we go, back again, dealing with the same tragic end. On the verge of going ballistic. Who said you could become a statistic? Marvin Gaye stuck on a loop in my head. What's going on? What's going on? Sisters gotta be wrong, you can't be dead. Never did I think, due to someone acting so foolishly, I'd be standing here rhyming, spitting your eulogy. Feels like I'm screaming and no one can hear. Still manifesting this moment to disappear. Tears won't stop rolling down my face. Rest in power to you. You're forever my ace. That's it.
Well, I really am pleased to stop by. I have to tell you why. No, I wasn't trying to rhyme like that. Like good as he is. Stand Up has been standing up for DC statehood all these years when we have been in the minority. Now that the Democrats have won the majority, it's time for Congress to stand up for DC statehood. So I am thrilled to see, even in advance of January, when that Democratic Congress will meet, Stand Up is already getting us worked up for what is going to come. When I first came to Congress, I went to Speaker Foley and asked for the first ever vote for statehood. Now, my friends, you're not supposed to get a vote on the floor of the House unless you already have the majority of the votes. I knew we did not have the majority of the votes, but I asked for that vote anyway, and Speaker Foley gave it to me. The fact is that, of course, we did not win statehood then, or the vote on the floor. The reason is that was when Democrats held the majority because a large portion of our caucus were Southern Democrats. In many ways, Southern Democrats were very good Democrats. You lost most of them. But they were more conservative Democrats. And so we could not expect their vote, but we got many more votes than we had any right to expect. We even got one Republican vote. I can't promise you we'll get one Republican vote this time. But it sure started us on our way to the House vote. And remember, we did get the vote on, we did get the House and the Senate later, a few years later, to vote for DC in the House of Representatives. Got the Senate to vote for it, got the House to vote for it, but the NRA, the National Rifle Association, attached or had someone attach a rider that would have wiped out all of our gun laws. So there went that vote. But this time, we're on our way. We now have the overwhelming number of Democrats already as co-sponsors to make DC the 51st state of the Union. Those are the people who are coming back who won their votes. Now, we won a lot of Republican seats. And I can't tell you quite where all of them stand. One of them was on the air with Kojo and was asked, is she for, she's from this region, I think it's Spanberger, was asked, is she for statehood? So she signed on to statehood on the air. So we got one already. She's from Virginia.
So Wexton.
Was it Wexton?
Yes.
Her too. Both. So we got both of them already.
Both.
So they gonna come.
They're going to come. It's going to be enough for me to make the case to Speaker Pelosi. She is going to become the Speaker, my friend. She's been good to the district. To make the case that we should have a vote on the House floor for statehood. We already are on our way. I have asked the rules to give me back what I won when I first came to Congress, and that was a vote on the House floor in the Committee of the Whole. The House meets in the Committee of the Whole often, but it's on the House floor. I reasoned that I vote in committee. The Committee of the Whole was not created by the Constitution, it was created by the Congress, just like the committees are created by the Congress. So if the Congress could give me the right to vote in committee, as it has, and even before I came to Congress, there was the right of my predecessor to vote in committee. If I could vote in committee because Congress created the committees, Congress created the Committee of the Whole, and I wanted my vote in the Committee of the Whole. That meant that DC had a vote on many matters that come to the Committee of the Whole. We got to take it as we can, vote by vote. This Congress, even the most progressive Congress, is not going to throw statehood at you, say, here's a whole kit and caboodle. We are do that. We've earned that. I'm looking at the people who've earned it. You, my friends, are number one per capita in taxes paid to the United States government, and yet you alone have no vote in the Senate and don't have the full vote in the House floor. Well, we won back the House, and so with Stand Up this afternoon, we are sending the message. We are coming for our vote. We want that House vote on the floor. We want more than that. We want a vote on statehood. We want to gallop our way to become the 51st state of the United States of America. You've done it. Let's go get it.
All right. Hear it again. I would like to call Kymone Freeman, co-owner of We Act Radio, one of our most progressive radios on the air in Washington, D.C. We Act also helped to promote this event, and I want to thank him so very much. Kymone's subject will be the connection between arts and social justice.
I think Jesse just made the connection between art and social justice. Peace and blessings. I want to thank y'all for coming out here today. First and foremost, I want to say that I had a personal friend of mine over 30 years, and he just had a kidney transplant this past Wednesday. And I'm going to tell you what he told me. Don't drink sodas, drink your water. All right? This message, all right. Because we statehood and we're not going to be here to enjoy this is not really of any use. It's an honor to speak inside these walls because inside these walls, and I told my son here that these are all the good guys. And these are the good guys that fought for us. And these are the good guys who, as Freddie Douglas says, rose to the challenge because power concedes nothing without a demand. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And I think that we have not really demanded our rights here. I think that we have, as our senator said earlier, have been coming to the table with our hat in our hands. We've been coming to the table with truth and justice and righteousness on our side. And that's often not enough when you're dealing with someone who is unjust, unrighteous, and are willing to do anything to keep the status quo. We just seen a white man steal an election in Georgia in plain sight. Plain sight. And I submit to you, quite possibly the same has happened in Florida and other places as well. Can you say voter suppression? Voter suppression. Voter suppression. Voter suppression. It comes in many forms. It can be gerrymandering. It can be just simply trying to purge the rolls and protect the phantom of these voter fraud cases. I think it's been like maybe 10. But nevertheless, millions of people have been affected with voter suppression. I'm saying that to say this. Our Congresswoman, our illustrious Congresswoman, I really do love her. And at some point, I'm going to corner her and show her the picture that she has smiling next to Trump just to get some feedback, But I just think that we have come to a point, a junction in life that we have to recognize that we have to risk something. I think that all of our elders, all of our heroes have risked something. And we need to make a personal choice on what we are willing to risk. And so when she says that who is the #1 highest taxpayer in America? DC resident. What did she say? DC resident. Okay, so that's what she said. Let me tell you what Alexander Haig said. Alexander Haig, for those who do not know, was the United States Secretary of State under President Ronald Crackman Reagan, the same one who said ketchup was a vegetable, and the White House Chief of Staff under President Tricky Dick Nixon, who created the war on drugs, and Gerald Ford, who, of course, fell down the steps coming off the plane because him and his wife had the same thing. Now, he said that they can protest and march all they want as long as they pay their what? Taxes. That's what the man said. So, the definition of insanity is doing the same exact thing over and over again. Dick Gregory says that he said a lot, didn't he?
All right.
He says that we need to stop trying to peacefully coexist with filth.
Well, thank you.
Now, Saudi Arabia has killed the journalists.
Come on.
And they treat it just like cops killing black people in America. Now, you and I both know what would have happened if Iran had killed a journalist. What would the feedback and reaction have been to that? So I'm saying all to say this. It comes to a point where it just boils down to a simple choice. What you going to do? Are we going to talk about what should happen, or are we going to do something to make it happen? Because I don't think with Trump as president that we can sit here with all good faith and say that whatever we come up with is unreasonable. I think that the president himself has acknowledged that he doesn't pay taxes. I know for a fact General Electric and several large corporations don't pay their taxes. And while I'm on the subject, wealthy people don't pay their fair share of taxes. Working class people are taxed at a higher rate. I know you didn't want me to talk about this today, but I apologize. I'm feeling the spirit of Dick Gregory. And we have to address the elephant in the room. Now, I will submit to you that this is a personal choice because it's personally what you're willing to risk. I do not own a home. I do not own the building where my business is located. So therefore, the only thing I'm risking is this. But it's mine. And I do with it as I please. And for the first time I'm publicly announcing this. I have not filed income taxes in this country since October 16, 1995. So what I'm telling you is possible. Now, they will come for you. And you know what they did when they came for me? They sent me a letter. I was thinking about my brother Jabari back then, who was one of my big inspirations. Everybody give Jabari a round of applause. Because he ain't just talking about it, he went to jail defending it.
All right.
The late, great Johnny Cochran came to Washington, D.C. to promote his book. We was in Anacostia at the Union Temple Baptist Church. Johnny Cochran said that the best way to air your grievances against the federal government was the withholding of your income taxes. I almost jumped out my seat in Union Temple. And because I was whispering in the dark then, I was too scared. I was doing it, but I was still scared. And I didn't even have money to buy a book. Didn't even have money to buy a book, and now today I'm about to open the next bookstore, Easter River, where we haven't had a bookstore in 25 years. All right. Johnny's Milton Community Bookstore will be opening, and the new bus boards and pours. Thank you very much. I get in line to purchase this man's book. I'm getting in line with everyone else who's there to purchase his book. I don't have the money to buy the book. I just want to have a conversation with Johnny Cochran. I get to the table. I said, Mr. Cochran, I apologize. I don't have money to buy your book. I just wanted to ask you a question. He said, sure, young man, you got 2 minutes. I said, sir, did you really mean what you said about withholding income taxes as a form of protest? He said, absolutely. I said, well, I've been doing it for years, and everybody tells I'm crazy. He says, you live in D.C.? I said, yes. He said, you crazy as a fox. He says that he no longer does criminal cases. Gives me his card, writes down his cell phone number in the back, and says, but if you're willing to go to district, make sure you get representation. I'm opening a law firm here in Washington, D.C. He hands me the card. I grab the card. He doesn't let go of the card. I'm holding on the card. And he looks me dead square in my eyes, and he says to me, but you must give me your word that you will go the distance. Meaning that I won't get scared and cop a plea.
Well,
now, if you haven't seen the documentary 13th by the great filmmaker Evanna, she pointed out that the majority, over 90% of all the convictions in the greatest prison system in the entire world are pleas. Have not been found guilty, they got scared and they copped pleas. I'm here to put some fire up under your wings. There is a reality TV star in the White House, and you talking about what they should do because it's right. You talk about what should happen because it's justice. You talking about what should be happening because you deserve it. Let me tell you what someone else told me. Marion Barry was in my studio, and I interviewed him. But even in that space, I didn't hear him. It wasn't until he was gone, and I played this interview back, that I caught what he said. And I quote, he says that no one has ever given us anything. Everything we got, we took. And I submit to you that this is something that we are going to have to take. And it's a personal decision on what you're willing to risk in that taking. And I don't think it's wrong to have civil disobedience in our efforts in taking what is rightfully ours. Otherwise, nothing will ever change. And we need to stop trying to peacefully coexist with filth. And what's coming out of that White House is ruminating around this world and is definitely squatting right here in the nation's capital is filth. And it's time that we come clean. I love you all.
My name is Chuck Hicks, and I am the Vice Chair for Statehood. And first of all, we just want to thank all of you for coming out this afternoon. This was a new venture for us, and we think it was quite successful. So we want you to give yourselves a round of applause. We think it's important that young people and people who talk a different language but the same language talk about statehood and how important it is. First of all, I want to simply thank the museum staff for all the work and effort they did to put this together. And I want to give a special thanks to Ed who helped put this program with us together for us, which is right here. And then what I'd like to do is that I'd like for all of the pre-DCU Statehood stand-up staff to come forward, stand up, so you might see them. Wherever you are, please come up. Statehood, stand up, please come forward. Joyce, Anise. Anise, Obi. There's not many of us. It's just a handful of us. But we work very hard and we get a lot of things done. And we're more than willing to work hard, and we ask you to join us as you're part of a special moment. And thank East Jenkins, our president, to work us all the way together. You never see the East anywhere without that cap and some Statehood sign on it. So once again, we thank all of you for coming out. We thank the performers. This could not have happened without you. And we thank all the people for the open mic. Because it's the last minute things were not coming the way we wanted it to come together. I said, why don't we have an open mic? Just let people come and talk about, rap about whatever they want. And it worked, and we thank you. We thank all of you for that. There are a few brief announcements, and then I think there might be a couple of things. Okay. There might be a few other things. But one, there is a benefit for Liddy and Gregory on November the 26th, and that's Dick Gregory's wife, and it is at, where is it? Montgomery College. And there's a flyer about that. There's also a flyer about a play we're doing tomorrow on Susan B. Anthony and Frederick Douglass. If you'd like to buy a ticket, it is at the counter. You can charge it. 2 tickets are $100, 1 ticket is $50. And it's all about voter suppression and the importance of the right to vote. And that was the conflict between Susan B. Anthony and Frederick Douglass. Whether or not women should have the right to vote as opposed to men, or how it could happen together. And that's an important thing. And of course, there are 2 other things. One is that Frank's Christmas party will be on December the 6th, and it's here. And we ask you to come out and support that. And there are flyers for my annual Christmas party. And as you know, that party is about raising money and toys and books and food for children with AIDS, the parents of children with AIDS, and the people of color in the African American community. But once again, we thank all of you so much for making this happen. We're just indebted to you. And now I turn it over to Anise.
Thank you, Chuck. Chuck was so important and instrumental to this coming about. I want to ask other people who belong to statehood organizations, just stand up. You're standing up for DC. I want you to stand up and show who you are. Thank you for being here. We have to work together. What we need to say is together we will free DC. Together. One goal of this event is to have it on social media, to have it out there for the country to see, for the world to see. The fact that DC does not have representation in its own Congress is an international disgrace. We cannot continue to go around the world fighting for so-called democracy, and we don't have it right here in the Capitol. So thank you all for coming. Hopefully you'll see yourself on Facebook Live. Hopefully you will get your relatives around the country to get their congresspeople, their senators to vote for DC statehood, and it will become a reality. Thank you.
If there's food or juice